Hey crafty people! Welcome back to my channel, and in case you're new here, I'm Sarah, also known as Craft Nerd because I'm a nerd who loves to craft. I do paper crafting, card making, junk journaling, and mixed media art. Let's get crafting! Oh, welcome to my channel. So today we are going to do some fabric clusters, and this is like my collection of stuff for doing fabric clusters that also needs to be reorganized because this is not working, and I think I know what I'm gonna do, and some of it needs to get put away because like the twine, I don't know if I use those for any fabric clusters, but yeah, I've got out a whole bunch of stuff. We're gonna do some fabric clusters, and I'm gonna start with this. Has got like pre-cut, like good starting point for clusters in it, so let's pull a few of those out. And I do definitely have some Christmassy ones, so we'll maybe do a few Christmas ones as well. And I'm missing something. Oh wait, here it is. Got some scraps over here too that I wanted to pull in and do some clusters with. These ones unfortunately probably need an ironing. Trying to find a piece of this fabric that's there we go. That one. That. And these are just, you know, pulling out bits for like starting points, and then we can adjust as we go. Kind of just going through my collection of bases and pulling out a few for us to work with. Thinking I'm just not in the Christmassy mood, so we'll leave that off. And this has got like the corners cut off of stuff, but I think this might be all Christmas and fall pieces. Oh, nope, there's a scrap of this stuff. Giant piece of fabric that needs to get put away with fabrics, I think. Pull a little bit of it off. Keep that out. That needs to get put away. Let's grab a little bit of that. And then I think this is mostly that. Let's pull that out. Oh look, I already had a piece cut off. This stuff is just a mess. All right. I think I've got enough base bits out. Yikes. I have a feeling I'm going to be a bit on the struggle bus for this one. All right, so let's scoot most of this out of the way. Let's start with this guy and find some stuff that we like to go on top. And actually what we may do is let's combine that and that piece. I like that. Add a bit of lace. Now I'm gonna just take my, you know what? Never mind. Oy. All right, now it needs something kind of focal imagey. I've got, I do have, I think it may need, I like that, but I don't know that I like it on there. And what this is basically tulle that I held over a candle to get it kind of melty. And then there's a brad in there for turning it into like a flower. No idea what got on that thing though. I'm only on the struggle bus already. Like I'm like, this is just not, I'm just, trying to think what I have that might work on there. All right, so I dug out a brad and I think it just needs something to go under it. Let's try a little bit of this fabric and I'm just gonna grab smaller scissors and cut like a wonky circle out. I've got more of that tulle that I have melted. So let's grab a few pieces in the blue maybe. Stick them on our brad. Our brad through the circle. And then through the rest of our fabric. And there we go. We got a fabric cluster. I think I want to make this piece a little smaller. I think. Let's see, I've got some laces off to the side. That is too white. Need cream lace, I think. And then I've got some of this, which I used when making the journal cover using this fabric. Definitely want to get a piece of that for here. Now for this one, I'm going to assemble it using some glue. I don't need like all of it completely glued down. I just need it to stay together. Like that. Let's set that one aside. Let's see, what else do we have out? Let's pull this one over. And I think we're gonna fray those bits a little bit. In addition to fabric and lace, I am gonna grab some ribbon, I think, to go with this one. I think we'll do a piece of that ribbon. A little bit of lace, I think. Ooh, I've got this little scrap bit of purpley lace. Cut that off. There. And then it needs something to kind of pull it all together. Kind of like that better. I think I'm gonna glue these pieces together. Needs something to go right there. I know what I need to grab. I'll be right back. All right, I dug out my leftover stamped butterfly bits, and I am just going to take my tiny attacher and staple the butterfly on. Like so. That did not go all the way through, but it should be all right. Actually, all right, we're gonna undo that. I don't think I'm going to get as many of these done today as I was thinking I was going to get done, because I don't know, I'm just kind of struggling on this one. All right, I like that one. That can get set aside. Let's pull over this one. And I was eyeing the ridiculously bright orange lace I have, but I figured if we put it on top, so some of it's sticking out. Okay, this needs to be a bit smaller. Let's lay that flat. Actually, if I do it on the diagonal, that kind of works for me. Flowers. And then I think we need gems for their centers. Yes, we'll use those guys. And then it still needs something else. And then maybe one of these. I kind of like that. Okay, and again, I'm gonna go with glue. wondering, do I have... I think I kind of want to add that. But we're going to trim that down a bit. All right, I like that one. We're going to call that one done. Those pearls would work really nice with this fabric. So let's do something with this fabric. Got this little sliver of the lace left. Let's put that on there, yeah. Something to bring in the blue. And we'll use a little bit more of this. What else do we want? No, that's not working for me. I do have, where is that blue fabric? And actually, let's do a little bit of this lace on there. And then this fabric. I think I want to grab pinking shears and cut a little piece off. Let's go a little bit smaller. Wonder, do we have? I feel like I want just one flower that's bigger. Let me see if I've got. You know what? Do I have? Okay, so let's glue. Use, this is paper, just my art glitter glue to glue the flower together. And actually, let's give it a little shape. I have like no room on my desk at this point. I've got so much stuff that I've like pulled over. All right, let's gently shape this. for gluing onto fabric, we'll use a little of the Fabri-Tac for gluing our flower on. I like that. Let's see if we can fray this a little up here. I think I want to get that bit off. There we go. All right, that one's done. Let's see what else we got. All right, this I need to cut that bit off of. Right, I like that. Trying to decide. Not quite the right color. Not quite the right color. Wait. What about one of these? I'm not loving it with that, but I think I definitely want to use this on something like that as the start of something. Yes, but it still needs something else on there. All right, I think I'm gonna show you the process of how I melt the tulle, because I think melting the edges of this is what I want. All right, let me grab my reverse tweezers to hold it. Set that aside. I am gonna grab a candle and light that. Hold on, let me get this set up and clear some space and make sure I have water handy before we try this. Okay, so pause the video so I could get set up to show you how I melt the edges of the fabric, and apparently didn't start the video again. So I did finish this one, and then I did this guy and this one, I think, possibly. I don't know. No, maybe I'm not sure which ones I've shown on camera at this point. But yeah, we did have a bit of a mishap, and I'm not gonna redo the lighting of the candle and all that, but basically what you do is you take a piece of tulle. Let me grab a piece. And I usually hold it in a piece of with my tweezers, like so, and then you just hold it above the candle, pretend that's lit, and it'll melt, and you'll get, you know, these are, I think I started with either like little squares or little rounds, and you get cool little shapes that you can do into flowers. Or this one, I just kind of held it bunched up and kind of just melted the ends. So yeah, I'm gonna finish up these two and then call it quits for today, because yeah, I think I'm about done. I think I like that piece on there, but that needs something underneath it to make it stand out more. This one I was going like so with, but I want to grab my pinking shears and trim that piece off. And I think I want to trim it like that. And have that piece, yeah, like that. And then that goes there. I think I'm going to cut this even smaller, because really I just want it to help the flowers stand out. Let's kind of round the edges a little bit. That's making a mess everywhere. But that works. All right. This I think I'm actually going to glue down, because I have a feeling if I don't, it's going to like fray apart. Oh look, all of that glue oozed out and has dried. Then for the rest of it, I'm just gonna stick the brad through. I think it's having trouble because of the glue. We're gonna call that one done. And then this guy needs a little something. I feel like I want a little lace over here. Yes. I'm going to use a little glue to glue the lace onto that piece. And then the rest I'm just going to hold together with the brad. I had originally planned on doing some that I sewed together, but kind of not feeling like digging out. All right, this definitely needs to be a bigger flower now. Where did I put? Let's pull in. I've got some lighter purple tools, so let's maybe do. I like that. All right, let's hopefully get this stabbed all the way through. Yay! All right, I think I'm calling it quits for today. Let's see what I did, some of which was on camera. Oh, I hate when that happens. Oh, I've got like no room. I'm like, everything's like avalanching in on me. All right, so we got, I know I did this one on camera.
and this one, and that one. And we did this guy, and that guy, and then don't remember if I did that one on camera. That one we started on camera. That one. This guy, and then this one. All right, that's not too bad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 of them. So that's all for today. If you enjoyed this video, please do all the things that lets YouTube know you enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave me a comment down below. Thanks for joining me, and happy crafting!